Okay, we're back after sideboard for game two between Oliver and Bob. Oliver's going to be on the top of the screen this time, and Bob, aka Giraffe, is on the bottom.
Yep.
I, I,
And it switched to them again. Seems to like doing that.
are you? Can you see the game? Okay.
Yep, I'm in.
Yep.
And they did it. It looks like add a few minutes to the clock, so.
Oliver takes the mulligan, and Bob kept his hand. Bob's on the play. Oliver keeps.
Kept the 6.
And keeps it on top as well.
The all caps good luck.
Is it turn one Throban Inspector again?
Just never wants to leave.
It'll be interesting to see what Oliver does with his counters and removal here against this kind of strange mid-range deck.
This time he's doubled his clock with the double Thraben Inspector.
But yeah, because cards like Sweltering Suns, I don't know if he would leave that in.
Yeah, I would guess not. The only small creatures he saw the whole game were the Thraben Inspectors.
And the Druid, which virtually
Yes,
does
which you
nothing.
wouldn't really want to kill. Yeah. Here we go, both of them getting in here.
Yeah, I thought in that first game, because Bob got the jump on him, got him to about 11, I think it was, and
Yeah.
he just seemed to run out of gas after that, and just the card advantage from Oliver just got on top of him.
And I think that happens a lot against this red-blue control deck, where early game it'll look like it's really behind, but you're just drawing cards, scrying to the bottom or the top. And once you get to late game, that just takes over. He did get the Spring to Mind to land this game, so got a land out of it.
Does the Spring to Mind, is it any land or is it a basic?
Basic.
Basic, yep.
Yep. So that's where the island came from. And I'll be right back. My cat really wants out of the room suddenly, so. All right, sorry about that. Looks like we were still in the middle of the anticipate, so.
I think the other interesting thing here would be to see how Bob sideboarded, because he had a few useless cards, so like
Yeah.
in that matchup, and
I guess the fumigates are gone.
Yeah, when you know you're only probably having to deal with 4 torrential gear hulks, he can probably, if they're in his sideboard, he can bring in a lot more counter spells.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure with. I haven't seen the Bant version of the deck, so I don't know what the sideboard looks like for his deck. So it'll be interesting to see if what we see that's new. Although we saw so little in game one that it'll be hard to know whether that's main deck cards or things that he brought in from the board.
Yes, in terms of threats, stop inspecting. In terms of threats, we sort of saw something at the bottom of the curve of the Thraben Inspector and something at the very top, but had no idea what's going on in between.
And I think the tracker guess was on point, whether they
I would guess they were main deck, but they could have been sideboard. I think we'll see them this game either way, though. The third Inspector comes out, though.
Now this is going to be a test of the Sweltering Suns if it was to stayed in there.
This is about the only time it would be good. And there he says plowing these into a sweeper, so he knows. Just a sensor cycled.
The sense is an interesting card here because there could, I guess, there could be an argument in a control matchup to bring it out, take it out.
Yeah.
But he showed it in game one, so he could probably safely take it out, and it might still get played around.
The only thing that might have been keeping them in is if his sideboard is really geared towards aggro decks, he may just not have had enough sideboard cards, so just left them in as cyclers since there was nothing better. Because a lot of times that deck, I think, has to have a sideboard geared towards beating zombies and vehicles, all the low to the ground decks. Monument.
Yeah, because he doesn't. I mean, I suppose Red has artifact removal if he suspects his Gearhulks. But there was nothing to suggest Gearhulks in game one.
No, I would actually guess that he does not have Gearhulks based on the Deep Fiends, and we didn't see any real draw spells or counter magic.
And I think without a counter spell, he doesn't really have any way to deal with the Deep Fiend.
Looks like Bob is hitting some lag now, so.
Well, it looks like the lag here is from Oliver's side.
He clicked toggle record on accident, so it may be that he was using lots of resources or something recording. We do have a clue being cracked here at some point.
Something is stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the issue here is with Whiskey Burn, Oliver.
X-Mage does have some quirks where if it lags too much, it doesn't know who has priority anymore, and stuff like this happens.
Yeah, a couple of times. Oh, here we go. It's fixed. A couple of times.
We did a rollback
to the start of turn 8. Yep. A couple of times a day it'll do this where the OK button just disappears. I find generally if you just keep clicking over and over on your avatar and pressing F5, F9, F10, just thumping buttons basically, it kind of
I found
fixes
F2
itself.
and F3 usually do it. Something along those lines usually fixes it. But looks like they figured it out.
Luckily. I was about to say that the rule for our league is that if there is a botch up, and in this instance it was Oliver's computer that was causing the problems, and then priority is given to Bob to decide the match, so Bob can take the game win before it's fixed. But obviously we don't want any games resolved like that. But last season, I believe it was the Modern Final, was resolved after a...
And it looks like we are still having issues that it looks like Oliver had auto skips on when the rollback happened, and it either gave him an extra card or didn't let him play the land. So we're in the X-Mage kind of hell of rollback city now. So not sure how we're going to resolve this one.
This is the problem that occurred a couple of updates prior. This is quite a common occurrence, and I think at the time that's one of the reasons why we advised to turn off rollbacks. Because I think there's no way to fix this now. In the past, when this happened, you'd have to manually click each step for a turn or two before you could resume using the F5, F9.
Let's see if they get it fixed. Does he get a land out? I actually saw the land last time, so I'm not sure what their confusion was. He had an Ether Hub on my screen, but... We're going to try one more time here.
Yeah, so it looks like it's Oliver's turn at the top of the screen.
Yep. That's the only thing I've ever found to make the priority thing fix itself, is just hit cancel as many times as you can. Looks like it's not working so far. And I think this may be one where we have to, if this doesn't work, leave it to Bob to decide what he wants to do.
It originally started with a champion with a rollback. Let me just have a look through. They've 1, 2, 3 times they've tried to roll back. So he played the Ether Hub, triggered energy.
It looks like we are waiting for Oliver now, so he's finally gotten priority, it looks like. No.
So Oliver's drawn a card, but whether he can play anything
like
or not.
Still, yeah. Looks like no still.
This is definitely an issue with the rollbacks. I think we'll have to turn this off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to make a call. What do you think we should do from here?
I mean, it all depends. If it was Oliver's problem initially that caused them to need the rollback, and it's still him not getting priority, I think it's up to Bob. And he's saying last try, so I guess after this we'll see what they think.
Yes, I think the rules are quite clear on...
Yeah. Bob is saying the things that I have found to work. Just overload it with dings and right-click cancels and see if any of those fix. It looks like no, because it's still the wrong person getting priority first.
Yeah, so I'll inform them of the rule.
Yeah.
So if Bob chooses the game win here, it's going to be 1-1 with
Yep.
Oliver on the play.
And they'll just be able to go to sideboarding as normal after this and start a game 3, because usually this bug, once you exit the game and restart a new one, is fine.
But I think I've seen this bug for like, it must be at least 6 months now.
Yeah.
I think it's the one that irritates people the most. It amazes me that it's not been fixed.
If you do rollbacks with nothing on the stack and with people being able to see who has priority and like make actions, usually it's okay. But anytime there's anything on the stack or there's the issue with who has priority in the game, rollbacks basically never work.
So Alex is going to try and just change his. Oh no, sorry, not Alex.
Oliver.
Oliver is going to try and change his internet. See if that makes a difference. I don't think it's going to make a difference. It's a problem with the game rather than the connection.
Well, he said after this game.
After this game, okay.
Yeah. He said he's going to concede game 2. And it looks like we're going to go to game 3.
Yeah, we're going to go to game 3.